everyone. Hey, Wellness Crew, and welcome to today's live stream about just not taking things so seriously, lightening up, and just being a little bit more free to embrace humor, embrace things that are intended to, lighten things up and not allow stress to affect you so much. A lot of times we will sometimes not even realize that we're not able to access that more playful and humorous side of ourselves. And we'll get really kind of stuck, and maybe there's a situation happening in our lives, or maybe there's something going on that we're not fully aware of. And um, it's just kind of hitting us a little bit harder than we thought. And we find ourselves becoming very serious and very stressed out and very um, just the kind of person that other people maybe don't want to be around. Maybe you don't even really feel like being around yourself. And a great way to kind of quickly get yourself out of that is finding something that brings you joy, finding something that makes you laugh, finding something that just gives you that moment to breathe, that gives you that moment to be able to, okay, let me just calm down, or let me just get out of this state. Sometimes we do get really entrenched though. So sometimes it takes a little bit more than just finding something to laugh at, or finding something to, be able just to joke about. Even having maybe long-term inside jokes with friends or family that may typically be able to get you out of it. Maybe that's not working for you. So maybe you need to do a little bit more inner work. Maybe you need to do a little bit of journaling, or maybe you need to do a little bit more deeper, stuff. That might take a little bit of time, but it's going to definitely be worth it in the end. You don't want to be constantly stressed out. You don't want to constantly have your cortisol levels be elevated, right? That's only going to be harmful and hurtful for you. So, trying to just, if you can, tell yourself, hey, this is going to pass, this is going to go. That is such a funny username. Oh my goodness. So here's a very good example of someone with probably a very good sense of humor. Thank you so much for the like. I appreciate that. So it's just being able to find ways, find little things in your day that you can be able to enjoy life, be able to be funny, be able to. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, my Barbie. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I stay out of certain questions like that. I feel like it's best to just stay out of certain things. Um, I'm really glad that people like to engage with super, serious things and things that are important to them. Um, but I just prefer to stay out of, certain things, especially stuff that's been in the news very recently. As far as your other question goes, yes, I do. One of my very close friends is, so I definitely do. Hi. So, but not taking things so seriously, not getting stuck on things, especially when there's been, hi, um, especially when there's been serious things that are going on, or when it feels like the world has been a little bit chaotic on. I wish them the best. I wish them the best. Um, when things may feel a little bit overwhelming, or when things may feel like they're not going our way, or when things may feel like what's happening in the world, or what's going on, or things are feeling out of our control, right? Finding the things that we can control, finding the things that we can focus on, finding the things that we can do to make ourselves feel better. And a big aspect of that can be the things that we choose to spend our time to focus on, the things that we can choose to engage in, the things that we can choose to do. And a lot of that is humor. A lot of that is, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. I spent just a few moments on it. Hi. Um, okay, so kind of not really what I meant to talk about, but that's a great question. So that is something that would be dependent on the specific situation. A lot of times we kind of forget how to, especially in this day and age, and it's kind of dependent too on uh, probably on what generation you're in and what types of things you're trying. A lot of people need to um, kind of put themselves out there a little bit more when it comes to attempting to find someone. A lot of people think that it's going to be really easy or, oh, um, to Ronnie, I've actually been in a lot of really difficult situations in my life that I've been able to overcome. So, it's really tough, and I'm sorry that you currently feel that way, and I really do hope that you do find a way to feel better. But I do know that it's very difficult when you're currently experiencing pain. It is something that's very hard to go through in the moment. But yeah, when it comes to like being able to find someone in the moment, yeah, it feels very difficult, especially when you're dealing with that feeling of aloneness or feeling like, oh, I'm not finding anyone, and especially if you've been single for an extensive period of time. Well, that is something that plenty of people, plenty of men is something to be ashamed of. So if that's something, that you do need. So thank you for that information. Yeah, I'm sure I won't, Ronnie. It sounds like I won't know a lot. Thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate that so much. It's just a little bit of I think it's like a highlighter. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, it's just a little bit of highlighter. But yeah, so choosing to see things as, oh, I don't know who that is. I don't watch the news. I'm 36. Oh, that's really not a question that I would answer on YouTube, John, but thank you for asking. I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough to ask that question. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Ray. I get that a lot. um, just drink a lot of water and try to moisturize. No, John. My YouTube channel is not for that, not for those types of questions. But I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough. No, Ray, I'm not. Austin, my YouTube channel is not really for that. Thank you, Nicholas. Wervin Marvin. Yeah, definitely. So again, not taking things super seriously, understanding that everybody's going to have different opinions. There's going to be people that are going to say things to incite certain things because they think that it's funny. I'm not able to mention every single person. I do apologize, Jesus. I apologize. I'm not able to always mention every single person. Sometimes the chat's going a little bit fast, or sometimes things are just kind of moving. So I try to answer when I can, and I try to answer the questions that are mostly related to things that I feel led to answer. So I'm not sure what that is about. I am not single now. Thank you, Jason. So, but yeah, so just really what I found for me personally is I would get into these, kind of like dark like periods and dark moods, right? And I couldn't find anything funny. I would just kind of like step away from things that were funny, and I would take everything so personally, and I would get so defensive about everything. Oh, I love Florida. I was just there in July. I had a lot of fun. And I would, just be like super down about stuff, and I just couldn't find joy in like anything. And I found that once I couldn't respond to things that were funny, it was just me taking things too seriously. It was me taking things, like I had to defend myself from everything. And I think we've all had that experience. I mean, this was when I was a lot younger, but we've all kind of had that experience. I think once you get a little bit older and you kind of start to mature, or when you've done some work on yourself and you start to be like, oh, yeah, like it doesn't really matter. Not necessarily that, but maybe more just like, being kind of moody or just, being like just taking things too seriously, just getting a little bit too, wound up in certain things. So, what I learned is just like, oh yeah, maybe don't get so self-absorbed a little bit. Maybe take some responsibility for the way that I'm, acting, and start to see that I can learn how to fix it, and I can learn that I don't have to take things so seriously. I don't have to be defensive if someone says something. I can simply just be like, oh, okay. Brandon, I think that's a really interesting point. And I think that that's something that could definitely be useful in some ways, for sure. Absolutely. It just depends. Um, I think language is really so important for people, and it just depends on if you're open to listening. If you're open to listening to things, listening to others, accepting a whole bunch of different things. Um, no, I think it was made though by a family friend, if I'm not mistaken. I do. I have my ears pierced and my belly button pierced. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, it's something that I'm from the United States. Yeah. Um, well, no, I don't really think that I'm a piece of property, so I don't think I'm owned. No. Mm-mm. That's what I hear. I hear that a lot. I definitely hear that a lot. But I don't know. I hear a lot of things from a lot of different places. I'm 36. Mhm. It's a popular question today. um, but yeah, so once that's kind of for me the first cue is when I can't enjoy things. Yeah, the reason that I don't is because there's some that I the reason that I don't repeat all of the messages is because there's some that I am just not responding to because they're going kind of quick and I can't always catch every single one of them. So, but that is a good suggestion. So, thank you so much for bringing that up. I will definitely try to do that as much as I can. Hi, Abby. Oh no, it's a full length skirt. It just looks like a tutu. Thanks, Brian, for saying that. Thank you, crypto. Thank you for the suggestion. I really appreciate it. So again, like when certain things come up, I just laugh things off. That No, I'm not married. Thank you for asking. I am in a relationship though. So, yeah, there's just some things that I don't take too seriously. I don't take too much very seriously really. But there's some things that I won't really acknowledge if someone's trying to, you know, say certain things. Um, I don't want certain communities disparaged. So, and I feel like I'm not pretty enough. So, I'm not going to answer that question if I'm not pretty enough to be a part of a certain community. I don't. I wouldn't say so. I don't think so. But everyone has different things. Yeah, today, I guess today you can for sure. Absolutely. Thank you. You can pretty much ask whatever you want for right now. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I understand. Thank you. Big H, I am 36. um, but yeah, so what I found is that when one of my first kind of signs is that if I don't find myself, laughing and find myself enjoying, comedy or enjoying, things like that, it's like, okay, so that's like a little sign where I'm like, I'm taking myself too seriously. I'm a little bit too, stressed out. Something's going on. That's like my first sign. So, let me see. There we go. Okay. Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate that. um, honestly, how do I handle people that are inappropriate? Typically, I kind of just let it go because, like I said, I tend not to take things too seriously. But when I feel like someone is on the verge of disparaging a community or disparaging people in general, I really don't want that chat to be saved. So, and I don't want that to be on a live stream of mine. So it's rare, but I will just start to hide people out. Yeah. I'll just kind of phase them out. I don't do it very often, but I will. If I feel like I have to. Because it's not so much, I mean, I can understand you can say whatever you would like about me, but it's more about if you're going to disparage a community or if you're going to just try to incite something or try to cause division. Sean, that's a really good suggestion. I'm not sure how to do that yet. I did get a little thing from YouTube about a moderator, but they kind of switched up stuff recently, so I still need to kind of look into that. But to be honest, I don't take it very seriously. I feel like when it comes to trolling, when it comes to things like that, people just kind of want to have their few minutes of whatever, or they want to just, be a troll. I mean, I get it. I don't take it very, very offensively. Um, people are going to say what they're going to say, and if I absolutely have to, I can remove them. So I just feel like we all, at least in where I live, there is freedom of speech. So um, I tend to want to encourage that. However, um, I have my personal lines, and it doesn't mean that I have to share them with everybody, but I have my personal boundaries. So hi OSK. So yeah, but definitely I think when you're when there's a consistent getting defensive, then you maybe shouldn't be doing things like live streaming, right? If you're unable to take a certain amount of stuff, a certain amount of trolling, or a certain amount of being conversational with other people and things like that. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate that. I appreciate that comment. Um, Thank you so much, OSK. I appreciate that. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Um, when you can't really like take certain things, then you just shouldn't. Brandon, that's a great question. So a lot of my more recent videos have been targeted towards beginners. So you can just kind of try out one of my videos and you just get started, to be honest with you. You just go. You just try it and see what works for you. And if you feel as though like something's a little bit too difficult, all you have to do is go into child's pose, and child's pose you can, see it in any one of my videos, or you can do a little investigatory and look and see what it is. So, um no, I am on other platforms. If you look at my posts, you can see what other platform I am on as well. Exactly. Yeah. You can start with things that are simple. I try to say if it's a beginner type video, but most of my stuff that I do, because of the age demographic that I have, tends to be older. I tend to basically do more beginner stuff, more progressive stuff, aiming, towards mobility, aiming towards progressively getting to a certain point, aiming towards growth, right? Not aiming for perfection, not doing super complicated things. Um, I have an autoimmune disease, and so that causes a lot of joint pain and stiffness and certain things. So because of that, I don't really make things super complicated with my yoga videos. Correct. Yeah. hmm When it comes to Takumi, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing yoga instructors out there. So, um, I'm more on the side of forgiveness personally. Explore, that's an interesting question. I think people can be very complex. I don't think that just because you hold someone accountable, I don't think that necessarily makes you mean. I think that you need, to have boundaries for sure. However, I tend to be from a place of forgiveness and just kind of let things go because there's really no point too much. So, Brandon, I think you meant vitamins. Yeah, always check with a doctor first. Um, yeah, OSK. The reason why I'm a little hesitant to really talk about it too much is just because I try to keep those platforms incredibly separate. Um, for certain reasons. So, but yes, if you go to my posts in community, you can scroll down. You don't really have to scroll that far, and you can find the username for that site. Yeah. Brandon. Yeah, so if that's how you feel, then you can definitely do that. I think that yeah, that's the only reason OSK. That's honestly the only reason. Otherwise I'd be like, yeah, but just for my own personal reasons and, things I like to keep them very separate, but it's very fun on there for sure. um when it comes to having an all or nothing mentality, I just feel like personally, for me, that's not the route that I go. I kind of like to incorporate different things into my diet. I think that an 80-20 approach is a great way to do it, or even like a 90-10. But there's a lot of people too that also feel like if they give themselves that permission to have that like 10%, it's just too much and they'll indulge too much. So I completely understand coming from a place of just wanting to stick to everything being healthy all the time. I would just say that as long as you're not beating yourself up if you ever, once in a while make a mistake. So, okay. Enough spam. Since I'm not a doctor, I can't really recommend any vitamins. I can say that because I was severely deficient in B12, I take methyl B12, which there's some people that can't absorb normal vitamins the way that they are. So when they are like the methyl type, then you are able to absorb them a little bit better. But that's only if you have a problem absorbing vitamins, right? Again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really make vitamin suggestions. But a really good thing to do would be to go get some lab work done and to see if you do have any deficiencies in it. Because quite honestly, if you're going to be taking vitamins and you don't really have any deficiencies, or if you're getting everything that you need from your food, then the supplements, the vitamins that you're taking are kind of going to be just wasting your money. So, if you have a specific goal in mind, right, supplementing like to gain muscle and things like that, that's one thing. But if you're, okay, so it's just, I'm not, but I am half Hispanic. I'm not from Mexico. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Coconut oil is very popular right now. So, yeah, there's just, it's all kind of dependent on getting advice from a doctor or a physician, not always going along with what they're saying um, is popular, just on the internet and things like that, not just following trends, but really getting feedback from a physician or getting feedback from somebody that has up to date and current certifications. While I do have past certifications, I don't have them current. So I just don't feel comfortable giving advice on vitamins and supplements and things like that at this current point in time. As far as like the nutritional aspect goes, I just, but yeah. So not definitely not taking things super seriously, not being overly not overly worried about things, not overly stressed about things, but also knowing that there's boundaries that need to be maintained. There's certain things that, you have to watch out for. There's certain things that um, you want to understand with your playfulness and things like that. I choose to understand that because of what I do, right? There's going to be things that I'm going to encounter and people that I'm going to encounter and certain situations that are uncomfortable. Hello, Chris Goes, how are you? So, and that's something that I know, and there's other people that really don't. Absolutely. Yeah. Your mindset is a very big component. It's an incredibly big component. And that's what really changed my life for me at least. That's what was the biggest component for me was understanding that when I'm not at the healthiest with my thinking, when I'm not at the healthiest with what I'm ingesting, as far as my content, or as far as like staying in a lighter place, or as far as like things that are motivational to me, or things that are inspirational to me, or just having a good mix, kind of like just like what I was talking about, like when it comes to food, right? Like, what are you consuming with your eyes, with your ears? Like, what are you consuming, what are you allowing your brain to be exposed to, the kind of people you're around, you know I mean, it's such a big aspect, and a lot of times we aren't even thinking about it. I tend not to expose myself too much to the news and things like that, mainstream media, just because if it's important, it's going to get to me through one of my friends or my family members or someone. I'm going to hear about it through somebody. So I have that little like filter, but things that that I'm just like, oh well, okay. Um, I'll hear about it from somebody else, and that's fine, and that works for me. But I don't like having a lot of like one-sidedness, and then someone else has a lot of one-sidedness. It's just kind of like, I like when people can try to get along and have a discussion and have um a civilized conversation. I think that's what we're really missing a lot of. And again, it's just people taking themselves a little bit too seriously, getting a little bit too entrenched in their side of things. So, yes, myopic thinking. Trying to see things from as many perspectives as you possibly can, right? Meditation being a really big component, honestly. Even if you're just spending a few minutes, it's not like you have to be meditating or spending a whole bunch of time on a meditation for like an hour a day or anything like that. Even if you just give yourself like 5 minutes, just allow your mind to kind of calm down. The amazing thing about YouTube is they have a whole bunch of videos with a whole bunch of different frequency music, and you can just choose and kind of listen and pick and choose whatever you want to listen to, and they're targeted for different things, for sleep, for whatever you want. Honestly, there's so many things that you can choose from, and I found it to be actually incredibly helpful. So that might be something that you might want to check out. Just different hurts, it's actually really interesting and really helpful as far as just kind of clearing the mind up. You'll definitely feel a little bit different afterwards, feel a little bit more clear. So I wish I could think of a channel, but I can't think of like one specific channel. I usually just kind of search and see what I find. So, but there's a lot of them out there, and they're really helpful. um so yeah, even with that, right? Taking small steps. You don't have to be taking huge steps every single day. As long as you're taking a small step, as long as you're just trying to as long as you're just trying to like, you know, do something positive, or do something towards whatever your goal is, or just even just laughing, even just finding something to joke about, even just finding something that can be silly, something that you can enjoy something that can make somebody else laugh, right? Like doing an act of service, making somebody else laugh, making somebody else, have like a moment of happiness. you know, like Calvin's blast off. I thought that was funny. I don't know what it's in reference to, but I just thought it was hilarious. So I was like, oh, okay, that's funny. You know, little acts of kindness, things like that. Like, that's something that can just be something that's contributing to making someone, of course, you're welcome. That's something that can just be like contributing to somebody else's happiness or making somebody feel comfortable or making somebody feel like at ease with stuff. You know, you don't have to be a perfect person. My whole channel is all about like we're all just works in progress. Um, there's no such thing about trying to be perfect when it comes to my philosophy on things. Trying to be better if you want to be, absolutely. Trying to improve if you want to improve, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's all about making the choices that you want to make. It's not about having stuff forced down your throat because I feel like you should do something. If you want to work with me as a client, that's a whole other different, thing. But for my channel, I want it to be fun and I want it to be something that is not um overly or at least always serious, right? I definitely want when it comes to like the fitness videos and all that stuff for it to be safe, but um I can't help if I find things funny. I can't help if I make a mistake. I don't do a lot of editing, if at all. so, you know, I would rather just kind of keep it lighthearted and fun. So thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you. Um, and yeah, just being able to laugh about things and not take things seriously. and it's it takes getting used to. It takes choosing to. Thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate that. I do. I mean, it's just covering different things. It's just I've only had it for I think it'll be 2 years, right? And I, you know, knew that it was going to be small. I knew that it was always going to be something that I didn't expect to really grow, like to be really big or anything like that. Very niche. Um, and it just it works for me, and I enjoy what I do, and it's just part of what I do, and it's just a way to be able to kind of give back, especially to people that have done a lot for me. And I just definitely want to be able to be a little bit more silly when it comes to some of my fitness videos, but still keeping people safe with form and things like that. But um, today I was just like spoken to, I was like, so oftentimes like it's hard, and I get it, it's hard, right? People especially, and I guess I will go there a little bit, especially after what happened yesterday. Like I've seen it already. I'm already seeing it. Like there's a lot of people getting upset. There was a lot of jokes already being made, and me and my partner were kind of talking about it, and he was like, this is funny to me. And I was like, honestly, it's funny to me too. I was like, but I also have the perspective of, well, this is a real person, right? So this is like an actual human being. This is somebody that has children. So regardless of what your opinion of this person is, I mean, yeah, you can make jokes and do whatever you want. Like I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm sorry, but some of these things were really funny. They were. If you have a darker sense of humor, yeah, they were funny. But at the same time, remembering like this is also a human being. This is also somebody that has children and family and all that. So trying to look at it from as many sides as you can, right? Understanding that some things that are said are not popular and are kind of egregious, maybe, you know. Uh, but I think you want to think about that, kids, and whenever kids are gonna lose someone important to them, that sucks. So, but again, not having things be super serious and not having things be super whatever. And a lot of times when it comes to death and things like that, I know for me, how I process things like that is through laughter. And through comedy, and how a lot of people process grief and how a lot of people process things is through like laughing. So thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate that. So, and some people find it disrespectful, and some people find it. There's so many different ways that you can take this. So I try not to touch on things that are too recent or too spicy, I guess. Um, but it's just one of those things where uh, I think we can all kind of take a step back and just be like, okay, let's just maybe try to look at things from a whole bunch of different perspectives of it, and understand that people deal with things in a lot of different ways, and people handle things in a lot of different ways. And um, it's there's a there's a lot of topics out there that are very triggering to a lot of different people. And there's a lot of people that are very polarizing to a lot of other people. And you just kind of it's it's really up to you how you want to take certain things, and it's really up to you if you want to be offended by stuff, and it's really up to you if you want to get angered by something, or if you want to just kind of let certain things go, right? If you want to be able to be responsive to something, or if you want to be reactionary. So if I'm going to react to something, I'd rather just react to comedy, or I'd rather just react to something silly, or I'd rather just respond to something silly, or I'd rather just not get so stuck and focused on stuff that is serious. So it's honestly just about aiming for progress and not perfection, aiming to be as well as you can be. And also, thank you so much, OSK. I appreciate you. That's very kind. It's just about everything having to do with being a little bit more well in your life, and also understanding that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to have a vice. It's okay to have a goal and aim for it, but you don't have to be perfect. No one's perfect, and that's not the goal of my channel. It's just more about aiming for progress, if you so choose. But this live stream was about not taking things so seriously, not taking yourself too seriously, not taking life too seriously. It would probably be a lot easier if I could change my banner, but for whatever reason, YouTube has not allowed me to change my banner for the last like 6 or 7 months. I'm not exactly sure why. I've tried it on my phone, I've tried it on my iPad, I've tried it on my MacBook, and it just says that it won't let me. So I have like a new thing ready. I have everything ready for it. It just won't let me change it. So I think that would really help a lot, to be honest, instead of it just being a picture of my face. But again, I don't take things too seriously. So thank you, Marco. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's okay. If we can, yeah, you can for sure message me on there, and I will be happy to respond back to you as soon as I'm done with this. Hi, Outlaw. I probably have about 6 more minutes. So, but yeah, just definitely hoping that people's days are a little bit more brightened, or you feel a little bit better, or just that you can see that like things won't always be so serious, or won't always feel so overwhelming, or won't always feel so heavy, or won't always feel however they're feeling in that moment. They won't always feel that intense. Things will pass. Things are always temporary. Everything is temporary, right? So just remember that. Everything's temporary, and just try not to hold on to those things and understand that it's going to pass, and you can choose to focus your attention on something else, something that's lighter, something that's freer, something that's like a little bit more, that's better for you. Whatever that may be. I like to focus on humor and things like that, but people have other things that they like to focus on, and I just I just enjoy making people happy and making people feel better about themselves and feel better about the choices that they're making if they're making the choices that are best for them, right? Not BSing them, but if they're making the choices that are best for them, then I'm here to cheer you on and be like, that's awesome, that's great for you. So definitely love working with my clients, and I love being able to share with people online, and yeah, you know, I love laughing. I laugh a lot. So, but yeah, if there's no other questions or comments or anything else like that, I have about 3.5 minutes. Really turned into a nice day, which I'm really glad it did. Oh, thank you so much, Calvin. I appreciate that greatly. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Oh, okay. Were you a subscriber before, or you mean to the live chat or to the live stream? Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, just have like a couple more minutes left. Definitely glad that things kind of chilled out a little bit with certain things, and glad that, maybe people are feeling a little bit more, calm down. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to wear glasses, and I just never wear them because I need to get new ones. And so you can definitely see how blind I am. I'm like, oh, I gotta see. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I try as much as I can to come from a place of kindness. It's usually pretty hard to make me upset or make me mad. Um, it yeah, it kind of takes a lot. I have pretty thick skin for myself. It's more like if you're going to try to antagonize a community that I care about and things like that, that's where I kind of get a little defensive. But outside of that, I definitely try to come from a place of kindness and a place of forgiveness and a place of understanding, because we've all been through so many different things and so many different experiences. We don't know everyone's full story, and sometimes people will lash out, or sometimes people will say things, and we don't really know what they've gone through. So we have to remember that the best to the best of our abilities, and try not to like react and not act on that impulse, but come from a place of, we just don't know what they've been through. We have no idea. So, but yeah, outside of that, I appreciate everyone so much for being on this live stream. Thank you again. This was a great conversation. I'm glad that we were all able to have this conversation. Um, don't forget to like, subscribe, and or join one of the membership tiers as it is popping off. If you're curious as to the other platform that I'm on, you can go to my community posts, scroll down just a bit, and you will see. I try to keep them separate, so that's why I am saying it the way that I'm saying it. Outside of that, Again, thank you, and I will see you on the next video or live stream. Be well, stay wild as well.